Hello. Welcome to the Big Joe Facebook Live show, show number 21. Yay. I decided to do a little dress up tonight because tonight's show is going to be a jungle show. We're going to do stories from the jungle. I have, in fact, three new stories that I've never ever done on Facebook Live, so that'll be cool. We'll give some people a chance to get here because I know the commute from the kitchen to the living room or the living room to the bedroom or wherever you're coming from is long. You know, when you're traveling with kids, every commute is long, no matter where you are. But thank you for coming. Thank you for having me here as always. This is my lovely jungle outfit for my jungle show tonight, and I hope you enjoy the show. All those out there, thank you for coming, and as you come, thank you. And please, someone remind me on the comment section to do shameless self promotion at the end because I'm too humbled to talk about myself and go, "Hey, hire me." It's not really my nature, but I need to be reminded of that at the end, so that way you will know all of the wonderful things that I have to offer in this virtual world. Yay. And hello, Aurora. My friends are coming in and everyone's starting. Now, we're going to tell you three big stories. There we go. Maybe even four. I don't know because I haven't told all three of the stories that I'm about to tell you. Three stories that I have, I've never told on this way, and I've actually never told two of them at all. I have a story about Tricky the Turtle and a story about Anansi the Spider, all in the same show, and then a story about a story tree. That one I've told before, but the other two I've never told ever. So I decided, just do it. Just go right ahead because I wrote these stories recently because we've, as like everyone else, I've been trapped inside this virtual box all this time, and so I've had time to write stories, which is always awesome. And Eleanor, hello, Eleanor, hello. Always good to see you all. So we're going to tell you some stories tonight, as is our wont. And we're going to start tonight with a story about Anansi. Now, I just need to remove the hat. There we go. And the mustache. This is going to hurt, really. Ow. Oh, that hurt. Giant eyebrow. There we go. Sorry. And, or just weird soul patch. There we go. Yes, this is Big Joe plays with a fake mustache because, life is weird. But there it is. That's what I'd look like if I was, I don't know, Luigi from Mario Brothers. That's what I would look like right there. So there it is. But thank you all for coming. Let us get right to work, and I'll tell you a story. This is a brand new story. No one has ever heard this story before, so you are the very first people to hear the story. So I appreciate that you're here tonight to hear the story. Our very first story is called Anansi and the Poison Pond. And as we said, all the stories tonight are going to come deep in the jungle. In fact, we might do next week, if you come back next week, if we're all still here, which we will be. If you come back next week, I'm going to do Jungle Show Part 2 because I realized when putting this show together that I had, too many news stories to fit into the jungle theme for one show. So I'm going to do into two shows. And Bradley, hello, Bradley. Hello. Onward, and here we go, yes. Once upon a time, Anansi the spider was very, very sad. Because it was summertime and it was very hot and very sticky in the jungle. Whew. Every day it was hot and sweaty and sticky and just like the other days. It's like Saturday. Let's say if you've all went through Saturday, it was really sticky. It's not bad today, but very sticky. Back then, yes. And it was always very sticky in the jungle, and he didn't like it. And what he wanted to do most of all, what he loved to do, is to go for a swim. He would love to go into a watering hole and swim and swim and swim in the nice, cool water in the pond. But there was a problem. The watering holes, the little ponds of water, everyone would go swimming at the same time because when it got this hot, everybody goes swimming. If you've ever been down to the beach in a very hot day, you'll know there's tons of people. Maybe not now with all the stuff, but still, tons of people. And when Anansi would go to the watering hole, there'd be lots of animals. And he said, "Oh, this is ridiculous." He'd try to go swimming, but he'd get hit by rhino. Ow. He'd get stepped on by hippo. Ow. He'd get swatted away by tiger. Whoa. And he couldn't swim. There was hardly a place to swim. He was trying to find a little place. He was a little guy, but there were so many big animals in that watering hole that he could barely find a place to go. And he couldn't swim. And he said, "This is ridiculous." And one day he was walking through the jungle and he was very mad. He said, oh man, I would love to go swimming, but I'm going to get caught by elephant's trunk and tiger's paw and hippo's butt. He got a big butt, he does. He said, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And he was walking around and he took a turn and he went to the middle of the jungle and he looked, That's when he saw it. There between the trees was a watering hole, a brand new watering hole that no one was there. It was just a beautiful, beautiful pond of clear, beautiful water. Anansi jumped in that water, sploosh, and he swam and he swam and he swam. Oh, it was so wonderful. He got all nice and wet and all nice and cool. Oh, it felt so good on his skin. Oh, it was so good. He swam and he swam and he swam. And it felt wonderful. So nice, so cool. If you've ever been to a pool or to a beach on a hot day and you go swimming, oh, it's wonderful. Well, he was very happy. And when he came out of the water, he was drying himself off. But as he was doing that, he thought to himself, oh man, somebody's going to find this pond. And when they do, they're all going to come swimming. And it's going to be filled with all the animals. And it's going to be disgusting. What can I do? And he thought and he thought and he thought. And he came up with a very good idea. He stayed up in that tree and made sure nobody came to that watering hole. But one day, Hippo came. Hippo came through the grass and through the trees, and he looked and he saw that watering hole. He said, whoa, look at that. A nice place to swim. Oh, that would be wonderful. And he was just about to go in, but Anansi went over and he said, stop, stop. Don't go. Don't take another step. And Hippo said, why not? He said, oh, that pond right there, it's poison. It's poison. There's poison in that pond. If you go swimming in there, you're going to get sick, very sick. You're going to get so sick that red spots are going to appear all over your skin. And you're going to get so sick, you're going to have to go to the doctor. And he's going to have to give you lots of needles and give you medicine. That's disgusting. And Hippo said, oh, no, I don't like getting needles. Oh, I don't like taking medicine. I don't want red spots. He said, oh, no, I better not go in there. And Hippo left, and Anansi smiled. And he went swimming that day and had a wonderful time. Well, later that day, as he was sitting there in the tree, along came Tiger. And Tiger wanted to go swimming, and Tiger came through the grass, and he saw that pond. He said, oh, man, look at that. That looks like a nice, cool place to swim, and I have it all to myself. I'm going to go swimming. And he went on over, but Anansi came over and said, wait, stop. Don't take another step. Don't move. And Tiger said, what's wrong? He said, oh, that pond is full of poison. Oh, it's so bad. It's so very bad. If you go in there, you're going to get sick. You're going to start to cough and sneeze and be really sick, and you're going to get red spots all over your skin. And then they're going to have to take you to the doctor, and you're going to have to get needles, lots of needles, and some medicine that's disgusting. And Tiger said, oh, man, I don't want to get sick. I don't like that at all. I've been trying to stay healthy, as we all are. We've all been trying to stay healthy. But me, especially, I've been trying to stay healthy, and I really don't want to get sick at all. I think I'm going to go. And he left off. Well, Anansi went swimming in the pond later that day. Well, the next day he came, and he was sitting there in the tree when along came Rhino. And Rhino looked, and he came to the grass, and he saw the pond. He said, whoa, look at that water. Oh, that looks very nice. So very, very, very cool and refreshing. I think I'm going for a swim. And he went over to the pond, and Anansi came over. He said, stop, wait, don't move, don't take another step. And Rhino said, what's wrong? He said, oh, that pond, didn't you hear? It's full of poison. Oh, there's poison in that pond. If you go swimming in there, you're going to get sick, so very sick. You're going to start sniffling and sneezing, and you're going to get a fever, and you're going to get really, really sick, and there's going to be red dots all over your skin. And then they're going to have to take you to the doctor, and you're going to have to get needles, lots of needles, and then take some medicine that is disgusting. And Rhino said, oh, I don't like taking medicine at all. Yuck. And I certainly don't want red spots on my nice skin. Oh, I don't like that at all. I'm going to go. Bye. And he left. Well, Hippo and Tiger and Rhino told the other animals about that pond, and everybody decided to stay away because they didn't want to get sick. They didn't want to get red spots all over their body. They didn't know what to do. And Anansi was very happy. And he got to swim in that pond all by himself without anybody bothering him at all. Well, the animals were very afraid of that poison pond. They didn't know what was going on. Maybe there were other ponds just like that. Oh, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Oh, they didn't want to go over, and really they didn't want to get sick. But Anansi was happy, and he kept on swimming, and everything was going fine. But there was someone who was seeing the whole thing, and it was Monkey. Yep. Monkey was up and was swinging through the trees one day, and he saw Anansi telling the animals that it was a poison pond. And Monkey knew that Anansi loved to play tricks. And so late that night, he went to check the pond, and sure enough, it was just regular water. He said, "You know what? I think I ought to teach that spider a lesson." So late at night, while Anansi was sleeping up in the tree, dreaming about going swimming in that nice cool pond, Monkey came over. And Monkey got a paintbrush, and he got some red paint, and he took that paintbrush. This is hard. This is when I wish I was a puppeteer and not just a guy with puppets. There's a difference. Trust me, there is a difference between a puppeteer and a guy with puppets. I'm a guy with puppets. Yeah. And some silliness. Well, he took that paint and the paintbrush, and he painted red dots on Anansi's skin, all over his skin, all over him. And then he snuck away. And he ran off into the trees. Well, Anansi woke up, and he went to the middle of the jungle to go and have some fun, maybe get himself some breakfast. And when he went in, he saw the animals. And when the animals saw him, they went, they all started to point. They all started to stare. They all started to get really afraid. Anansi said, "Well, what's going on around here?" They said, "Anansi, what happened to you?" Anansi said, "What? Nothing happened to me. I'm here. Like always, I'm here." They said, the red spots. Look." And Anansi looked at his legs. He looked at all of his legs, and he had red spots all over himself. He said, "Oh no, what's going on? Why do I have these red spots?" And they said, "Oh, poor Anansi. He's sick. He's really sick. Oh no. What are we going to do? He's going to get very sick." And someone said, Hippo said, wait, I know what we have to do. We have to take him to the doctors. The doctor has to give him lots of needles and give him medicine. That's really disgusting. Let's take him right now." And they all started dragging him. They said, "Come on, we need to go to the doctor." He said, no, I don't want to go. They said, come on, you have to go. He said, "No, wait, fine, I'll admit it. I don't know how I got these red spots, but the water in that pond is not poison. It's not poison at all. I was just trying to go swimming all by myself. I don't need needles. I don't need medicine. I was just playing a trick on all of you." Well, all the animals got very, very mad, and they said, "You did that? That is not very nice." And they all laughed at Anansi trying to play tricks. And they all went to the watering hole. And later that day, when Anansi went to that watering hole to try to go swimming, it was full of animals. And he had to deal with all the animals. He had to deal with elephant's trunk, pump, and tiger's paw, pump, and hippo's butt. Ow. I hit his butt. Well, he didn't have his place to swim, and he was very, very mad. But that's what he got for playing tricks on all the animals. And that is the end. Thank you very much. On to story number 2. And let's see. Sammy is having a 5th birthday, so I must say, happy birthday, Sammy. And what a better way to celebrate a birthday than with stories. Well, there are other, ways to celebrate a birthday, but stories are awesome. At least for me. Stories from Big Joe are awesome. Yay. All right, well, happy birthday. And he's turning the ripe old age of 5, which is awesome. And my friends Anton and Reese from Colorado are here. Hello. Hopefully it's nice and cool out there in Colorado, because it is hot over here. Not too bad today. It is not jungle hot. See the segue? We're going to tell another jungle story now. And this is a story of Tricky the Turtle. Where did he go? All right. Now, I hope this story works, because when I wrote this story, it seemed good at the time. A lot of stories that I write, they seem really good in my head, and when I tell the story, it's like, that wasn't that great. But I'm hoping that it comes out well. I hope you like the story. You're the very first people to hear this story, and I hope it comes out okay. This story is called Tricky the Cowboy. Let me put on my cowboy hat. Yeehaw. Ha-ha. There we go. I don't know what happened to this side of the hat. No, wrong side. Yeah, there it is. Hello. Edith, Ann, and Yvette, my beautiful friends. Hello and welcome. Hello. Oh, and Bradley, your birthday is on Sunday. Happy birthday to you. Look at all the birthdays coming up. And by the way, I'll do this in the shameless self-promotion part of my my show at the end there, but just a little bit in the middle here. I've been doing virtual birthday parties, lots of virtual birthday parties. So if you ever want a virtual birthday party, we can. And this past weekend, I did an actual birthday party. I did an actual real life outside birthday party. We could do things at a social distance. I have enough voice to make everything happen. I could wear masks and things. So if you want an actual regular birthday, I am up for that. If you're cool with it, I'm very cool with it. So we could do a virtual party, we could do a regular party, we could do anything that makes you happy. That is my job, is to make you happy. I have one job. That's it, to make you happy. All right, on to our story. The story is called Cowboy, Tricky the Cowboy. You haven't figured out the name. No, I haven't quite figured out the title yet. I wrote the story, but not the title. Shouldn't you do it the other way? No, I write the story and then I write the title. I just got to figure it out. All right, whatever. Once upon a time. What are you doing? I'm telling a story. No. Why? You're a turtle. You're very slow. It's going to take you a long time to tell the story. I have to tell the story, but I want to tell the story. No, you're in the story. Okay, it's bad enough. This is the very first. See these people out there? All you people out there, they are the very first human beings to hear this story, and I hope it goes well, because I'm kind of nervous about things. I don't usually get nervous. I'm getting that sort of little tiny flop sweat, as it were, because I always get nervous when I try, new stories. No one needs to hear your inner thoughts. Seriously, no one. Not even me. And I'm your puppet. It's kind of weird. Over there. This is called Cowboy Tricky. Tricky the Cowboy. Darn it. Get it right. Sorry. Tricky the Cowboy. There it is. Once upon a time, long time ago, my friend Tricky the Turtle lived deep in the jungle. And all the big animals were out there, and they were all much bigger than him and much faster than him. And he was kind of slow because he was a turtle, and he was kind of small because, well, he was a turtle. And he couldn't get on with all the other animals when they were brave and strong and acting all mean. So Tricky pretended to be pretty brave and pretty strong. And Tricky liked cowboys. He read stories about cowboys. He read stories about the Old West and all kinds of things, and he thought that was pretty cool. And so he wanted to be a cowboy. Yep. He made himself a little cowboy hat. I will find a little cowboy hat next time I tell this story, but I haven't had time to find a small cowboy hat. I don't know if they make such things, but in this world, they just might. You never know. But he wore a cowboy hat, and he walked around with a cowboy swagger. And he wore some spurs on his feet. Now, spurs are what they use to make horses go. And he would clink into town, clink, clink, clink. Those spurs would clink on the ground, and he'd have his cowboy hat. And the animals would sit there, and they would say, "Tricky, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm a cowboy. That's what I am. I'm a cowboy. I'm not Tricky. I'm Tricky the Kid, the cowboy." And they all got a laugh out of that. They said, "Look at Tricky. He wants to be a cowboy." They said, "Ooh, you're gonna twirl a rope. You're gonna ride around. You're gonna shoot some guns." He said, "Yep, I'm a cowboy, and I'm gonna do all kinds of cowboy things. And because I'm a cowboy, I am the strongest, the fastest, and the bravest animal out here." And they all started to laugh. They said, "Hey, you're not the bravest, you're not the strongest, you're not anything." He said, "You are definitely not a brave and strong animal." He said, "Yes, I am. Why, I'm Tricky the Kid, the best cowboy out there, and the bravest, strongest animal in the forest." They said, "Hey, you better not let Tiger hear that, because Tiger is the bravest and strongest animal in the jungle." And Tricky said, "Oh, please, please. That tiger's not brave and strong at all. He's no match for Tricky the Kid." Yeah. And they all started to laugh. They said, "Oh man, you better not let him hear that, because you will be in lots of trouble." He said, "Oh, please. I'm not afraid of that flea bag. I'm not afraid of him at all. Why, I would even ride him like a horse." They said, "What?" He said, "Yes. That's how brave and strong I am. I'm going to ride that tiger just like a horse, and I'll show you all tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll show you. I'm going to ride that tiger just like a horse, a cowboy on his horse." Ha, ha, ha. And they all started to laugh. They said, "Do you believe that guy? He thinks he's going to ride Tiger like a horse?" He said, "Oh man, if he goes to mess with that tiger's going to eat him up." Well, all the animals began to talk and they began to chatter, and news of what Tricky was saying, that he was braver and stronger than Tiger, got to the ears of Tiger himself. And Tiger was none too happy about that. He said, "How dare anyone say they're braver and stronger than me? Why, I want to meet that animal. I'll show him what's for." Is that the line in the story? Yes, I know. I gotta work on that line, but it's the first time we're telling the story. Just do your lines. But seriously, I know it needs a rewrite. Just not now, just over there. Hello, friends. Well, Tricky had a plan. He told all the animals that next day he was going to ride Tiger just like a horse. And he had a very smart plan. So Tricky that next day went to go see Tiger. And Tricky said, "Oh, hello, Tiger." And Tiger looked and saw Tricky, the animal that was talking about him, that said he was braver and stronger than Tiger. And he said, "Is it true that you said you are braver and stronger than me?" And Tricky looked, and he put on a very sad face. He said, "Oh, Tiger, Tiger, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they said to you. I never said anything like that. Why would I say something like that about you? You are so brave and you are so strong." He said, "Then why are the animals saying that you said you were braver and stronger than me?" And Tricky said, "Oh, you know how rumors get started. People start to talk. Everybody says stuff, but nobody's telling the truth." He said, "They are not telling the truth." He said, "I will prove it. Let's go to the other side of the jungle and see all the animals, and I will tell them that I never said anything like that." He said, "Fine, let's go." And they started to head down the road. And as they headed down the road, Tricky tripped, ow, and rolled over. This hurts. I know. It really does. Just back over there. Yes. And and by the way, Anne, I like the tangents too. That's just the way my brain works. It entertains me. Kind of weird. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird. Just that's our job. I can't take this job seriously. I can't be, you know what I'm saying? I'm thankfully not one of those, "Hey kids, how you doing?" I can't do that. That's not who I am. I'm a different breed of cat. And so I want to make everyone happy, including the adults. Why? Well, because they have to be here too with their kids. They do. Yes. Well, not all the time, but they're here too. And we want to make them happy too. Our job is to make people happy. And take a nap, and occasionally take a nap, yes. Well, they started walking. Tricky tripped and he rolled over and he said, "Oh, oh, my foot. Oh, my foot. I hurt my foot. Oh, man. I don't know if I could walk anymore." And Tiger said, "Are you all right?" He said, "I don't know. I hurt my foot. I don't know if I could walk anymore." He said, maybe you could carry me into town. That would help." He said, "All right, fine, fine, fine." He said, "I'll just get on your back and you could take me into town." And so Tricky climbed on top of Tiger's back. And Tiger started to walk down the road. And as he did, Tricky went, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." And Tiger said, "What's wrong?" He said, "I'm slipping off. Your skin is very slick, and I'm just slipping right off your fur. I need something to keep me stable. Could I make myself something to sit on?" And Tiger said, "Sure, I guess." And so he got off and he hobbled himself over into the jungle, and he got a great big leaf from a tree and put it on Tiger's back like a saddle and sat down on it. And he kept on going. He said, "Ah, much better." And Tiger started to walk. And as he started to go, Tiger was in a bit of a hurry, and he started to go fast. And Tricky started to move back and forth. Whoa, whoa. Well, Tiger was walking, and he got into a very sunny part of the jungle. And he said, "Oh, Tiger, it's so hot and sunny." He said, "Don't worry, we'll be there soon." He said, "But my eyes, I'm getting the sun in my eyes. Could I possibly make myself a hat?" Tiger said, "Fine, fine, do that." Well, he went on over and he got himself a leaf and he made it into a cowboy hat. And he got back on Tiger's back. Now he had his saddle and his hat. And he was riding along. And as he was riding along, Tiger started to go even a little faster than before. And when he went faster, Tricky started to move back and forth and he almost fell off. He said, "Whoa, Tiger, slow down, slow down." And Tiger said, "What's wrong?" He said, "You're moving too fast. I don't know if I could hold on." He said, Maybe I can make some rain, something to keep me on so I don't go flying off because I don't want to hurt another foot." He said, "Fine, go ahead." And so he went off and he got a vine and he put it around Tiger's neck just like some reins and he grabbed hold. He said, "All right, let's go." And they went. And they went towards the middle of the jungle. And all the animals were sitting there. And all of a sudden, out through the trees, there came Anansi. Tricky, thank you. Wrong story, I know. So, over there. There came Tricky riding on Tiger's back, just like a horse. Well, Tricky went on over and he took those spurs that he was riding, and as Tiger went by, he took one of those spurs and poked him right into Tiger's belly. And Tiger went, "Whoa!" and went up and started to gallop and run. And Tricky stayed on, holding on to the reins and sitting on that saddle. And Tiger ran and ran and ran and ran and ran with Tricky on his back. And all the animals were amazed. Tricky was riding that tiger like a cowboy, like he was a horse. And he rode, and he was so hurt, Tricky jumped off, and Tiger ran into the jungle with a hurt belly from those spurs. And Tricky went over to the animals, and he said, "Well, what do you think now?" And all the animals were amazed. They said, "You did it. You rode him like a horse. That is pretty cool. I guess you are a brave and strong cowboy." He said, "That's right. I'm Tricky the Kid, the bravest, strongest, and smartest cowboy ever." And that is the end. All right. Well, hello. Well, you've been here. And it is time for our last story. I got one more story for you tonight. And this is a story that I've told before, and I haven't told here on Facebook Live. And so I'll tell that, and then shameless self-promotion, and then I will go eat my breakfast. It's been a long day. I haven't had breakfast yet. I know it's 7 o'clock, but yeah. Well, this story is called the story tree. Now, a long time ago, there were no stories. No stories at all. Now, I've been telling you stories for weeks and weeks and weeks now, and there are other people that tell stories, lots of great stories out there. You could find lots of good storytellers out here on the internet. Lots of good stories, but a long time ago, there were no stories at all. Nobody told any stories. Nobody knew any stories. And without stories, nobody had any sort of dreams. Because when you hear stories, your imagination starts to wander like mine, and my imagination goes, and when I go to sleep, I have lots of really cool dreams. But nobody had dreams. They would just go to bed and wake up in the morning. Well, there was a family, a mom, a dad, a brother, and a sister. And one day, the little boy's mom said, "You need to go out into the jungle and find us some wood for the fire. Go out there and get me some wood." He said, "Okay." So he was going out, and he had his little axe that he was going to chop down some branches of the tree and get some wood for the fire. And he headed off into the middle of the jungle. And as he did, there was a very big, beautiful tree right there in a clearing. And it had big branches with lots of leaves. And he looked and he said, "Oh, that would make some good wood for the fire." And he took the axe and went over to the tree. And he was just about to swing it, but the tree said, "I wouldn't do that if I were you." Little boy said, Who said that?" He said, "It was me." And the boy looked around. He couldn't see anybody with him. He said, "Who?" And the tree said, "Me." And he looked, and he realized the tree was talking. He said, You can talk?" He said, "Oh, yes, of course I can talk. I'm the story tree." And the boy scratched his head and he said, "What's a story?" And the tree said, "What's a story? Well, sit down. I will tell you some stories." And the boy sat down, and the tree told him stories. He told him lots of stories. He told him about 3 pigs and a big bad wolf. He told him about princesses and dragons and knights and all kinds of fancy places. And the boy sat there like this. That's the way I like the audience, by the way, to go like this. That means I'm doing something right. Well, he sat there and he sat there. And the boy realized what time it was. He said, "Oh, I got to get going." He said, could I come back tomorrow and hear some more stories?" And the tree said, "Of course, come back. I'll tell you more." And so the boy went home and he gave the wood to his mom, and she made the fire and made dinner. And that night they had dinner. And when he went to sleep that night, he dreamed. He was having dreams, and he would toss and turn. He was talking in his sleep, and his sister, who was sleeping in the bed near him, wondered what he was doing. And the next day he went out and he sat down in front of the story tree, and the story tree told him more stories, and he loved it. And that night when he went to bed, he had even more dreams about all kinds of fanciful things, about knights and about giants and about monsters and snakes. And he had wonderful dreams. Well, the next day, his sister decided to follow him to see where he was going. And he went through the jungle, and she followed him through the jungle. And he went down and sat in front of the tree. And she came to the clearing, and she heard some talking, two voices, and she went to look. And there was a tree, and he was sitting there hearing things, and she said, "What's going on? Who are you?" And the tree said, "Oh, this must be your sister." He said, "Well, hello, I'm the story tree." And she said, "What's a story tree? What's a story?" He said, "What's a story? Well, sit down, I'll tell you too." And the story tree told them amazing stories, wonderful stories, and they both sat there like this. Well, at the end, they said, "We better get back home." And they went back home, and that night, both of them had wonderful, wonderful dreams. Oh, it was wonderful. Well, the next day, they went back out to go and see the story tree and hear more stories. And their mother was making dinner. And she said to her husband, "Where are the children?" He said, "I don't know. I've been working outside. I don't know where the children are." She said, "Go and find them. Please go and find them. We need to have dinner." And he said, "Okay." So he went out into the jungle. And as he got closer, he heard some voices, and he went to look. And there were his two children sitting in front of a tree, listening to the tree talking. And the father came over and said, "What's going on?" And the tree said, "Oh, this must be the father. Why, hello, I'm the story tree." And he said, "What's a story?" The tree said, "What's a story? Well, sit down, I'll tell you." And he sat down, and the tree started to tell stories, wonderful, amazing stories. And they all three sat there like this. Well, their mother was in the house, and dinner was getting cold, and she said, "Where are they? I send him to do one thing, and that man cannot even do that one thing. I have to do everything. I will go and find them." And so she went out into the jungle to go and find them. And she was calling for them, and she heard some talking, and she went to look. And there she saw the story tree, and the story tree said, "Oh, this must be the mother. Hello, hello, I'm the story tree." And she said, "What's a story?" He said, "What's a story? Well, sit down, I'll tell you too." And he told some amazing stories. And they all sat there like this. And that night when they went home, they all had wonderful, amazing dreams. And the next day, right after dinner, all four of them went out to see the story tree, and they sat there and listened to all the stories. Well, every night that went on, and the people in the village started to wonder what was going on. And so they decided to follow them. And when they would follow them, they one by one would find the story tree, and the story tree would tell them to sit down. And sure enough, one after another, and soon pretty much everybody in the village after dinner, they would all go and sit in front of the story tree and listen to stories. Well, the story tree told them stories for days and days. Every day they would come, and every day he would tell wonderful stories. And finally, one day the story tree said, "Well, that's all the stories I have." And they said, but we need more. We need more stories." And the tree smiled and said, "Well, you can write your own stories." And they said, "Well, we could do that, but what can we do? Where can we go with these stories?" He said, "Well, I've told you lots of stories. Now you can tell stories to other people." And they said, "Okay." And so those people started to go out. They started to go out to other villages and other places, and soon other countries. And soon the stories went from one place to another, to another, to another, to another. And soon the stories were all around the world. And from then on till now, everyone has stories. Everyone has stories to tell. I have stories. You have stories. There's lots of good storytellers out there. Everyone has stories to tell, and it's all because of the story tree. And that is the end. Now, before I get to my shameless self-promotion, someone had a question there. Can we watch the replay later? Yes. If you go to the Big Joe the Storyteller Facebook page, and you go to the video section, there's in little more, and they reformatted Facebook. It's kind of weird, but you can do it. If you go on more, you can go to videos, and there's all the videos that I've done. This is show number 21, so you have lots of stories to watch and lots of stories to hear. and I hope you like it. Now, as for shameless self-promotion, as I mentioned sort of earlier, I have been doing regular birthday parties, actual, at your house birthday parties, and virtual birthday parties as well. I also do the same for schools and libraries and all kinds of things. I've added a lot of components to the virtual part of things. So if you would like a virtual show for your preschool or library or center or wherever you want, wherever needs any sort of event or group or whatever, I can tell stories. Just let me know. You can email me at bigjoe@bigjoe.com, or you can just go through my Big Joe the Storyteller Facebook page and message me there. That will be awesome. And finally, before I go, I'd like to thank everyone who has contributed to my digital adventures through all this stuff. I saw as I was telling stories, someone contributed through Venmo, which I appreciate. Thank you very much. It's always appreciated, because in these tough times, the world is very different for people like me, and so I'm grateful to have friends like you that have helped me out. And if you ever want to, through Venmo, it's at Big Joe the Storyteller, and through PayPal, it's paypal.me/Big Joe the Storyteller. And you can do that, and nothing is ever expected or demanded, or it's all very much appreciated. And so, again, if you ever want a virtual show or a regular show, I am here for you to make you happy. That is my one and only job. So everyone have a wonderful night. I will see you next week, and next week probably will be Jungle Stories Part 2. I will not wear the mustache. Well, maybe I'll wear the mustache. Maybe I'll wear a different mustache, because can only look silly so many times. There it is. So everyone have a great night, and thank you for coming, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you.